Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the third and final match of this best of three between Char and Rooster. In the last match, we saw a very aggressive macro hatch in the natural of the Protoss player. This did not work out when the Immortals arrived, and the Zerg player, with no answer and no second base on the back, was forced to surrender. Let's get on to our character introduction. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner, wearing the orange war paint, it is Char. Sending out a very early probe. We've seen some macro games between these two. What have they learned from each other? What will they think the other player is going to do? Are we going to expect cheese? Are we going to be looking for cheese? Should we expect another macro game and this to go into the late? We can only wait and find out. Both players scouting each other right away. The drone and the probe are scouting, passing each other. Hey, what's up? High five. The drone is going to see this outward pylon immediately and know that a wall-in will be following shortly. Several probes being built on the back of this. He turns around, having seen everything he needs. Probe making his way to the natural. It looks like he is going to once again block the Zerg player from taking a early natural. Zerg player, knowing this was coming, drops down the spawning pool almost immediately and begins to get ready to crank out a few Zerglings to take map control, which worked very well for him in the first game. Protoss player drops his Nexus before Gateway. Knowing that the Zerg is not quite yet ready to move in on him, he feels confident in this decision. Zerg player floating a lot of minerals is looking to put down his hatchery, but this pesky probe is right up in his face. The hatchery taken in the gold of the Protoss player. Now, watching games on Overgrowth, I have always wondered why in the WCS they don't do this. This is something rather unexpected and usually would go unscouted. I'm not sure why Rooster's doing it, but hey, cheese almost worked last time. Let's see if it works for him again this time. Protoss player finishing up his wall at his natural is completely oblivious of the Zerg player's expansion. Although not seeing an expansion in the natural, he's got to be suspecting something. Something smells cheesy. Two gases going down in the main for the Protoss player. The second Nexus finishing in the natural. Almost. There it is. One probe standing guard, waiting for his valiant Zealot to show up and defend this wall. The Overlord's going to have to scoot back a little bit. That cannon's watching him very angrily. Drones are transferred from the main to the gold. Now, when you take an early gold, this is the best idea, to move your drones from your natural into the gold. They'll mine a hell of a lot quicker, and you're going to get money faster. Although, if it gets seen and you lose the drones, you are in very dire straits. The probe, not seeing a third and not seeing a hatch, the second is going, what on earth is happening? I have no idea what's going on. I need to keep looking around, but this queen is very angry and looking at me. Nope, she's ignoring him. He's standing there scratching his head going, what the hell is Rooster thinking? The probe almost gets scared towards the gold, does not see it. He is still quite oblivious of his opponent's decision. But, the Protoss player had his natural up way before the Zerg player got his hands on the gold, and it's going to be a while as far as tech paths go before the Zerg player can catch up and start reaping the benefits of having this gold base right outside of his Protoss opponent. I think what's going to happen is he's going to catch wind of it eventually, and they're just going to have to settle into a normal macro game before too awful long. Although knowing that's there might put a little extra pressure on Char, maybe cause him to overreact or get a little anxious about the outcome of the game. Mind games here. The wonderful thing about the best of threes, the Zealot runs in and sees exactly what's going on. He has seen that the Zerg player has taken the gold and fortified it very well with spine crawlers. At this point, he's saying to himself, well, what the hell do I do about that? Robotic Spade comes down, tickle cannons come out, and the warp gate technology is almost done. I think a couple void rays might be the answer to this, although if he gets enough immortals he can snowball and roll right through the enemy just like he did in the last round. We still have not seen a tech choice come out for Rooster. I think a couple Banelings might be to his benefit, or maybe even a Roachhorn. He has to do something because Zerglings are not going to be enough. Extra Cannon goes down behind the wall to make sure that the Zerglings can't get through, and he is cranking out his Warp Gate technology. I think the Protoss player is banking on a back attack into the main from this pylon. If he can sneak in there and take out that spawning pool, he will be in a very good situation to continue to roll through to finish this game. Creep Highway going from the gold straight into the Protoss' natural. This will allow... Oh, he's doing a forward aggression of Spore Crawlers. Absolutely brilliant. I love to see creative plays like this. I was wondering why the Zerg player was not building any new tech choices. I still think Baneling Bust right now would be one of his best choices, but it looks like he does not have any gas at the moment. He has just started to get a little bit of gas. Maybe he heard me. Did he? Spine Crawlers are moving forward. The creep is moving out. What does the Protoss see? He sees that there are Spine Crawlers right outside of his base, and he has to be sweating at this point. What do? You have to keep cranking out Immortals and hope that you have the power to overwhelm. I think in order for Rooster to win this match, he is going to have to make sure he gets some very good transfuses on his crawlers. What kind of structures are we looking at? 9 Spore Crawlers on the outside of the Protoss base. He's getting some free hits on an Immortal without any answer, and he is taking down this pylon. This is going to force the Protoss to do something, or sit there and watch his buildings get torn apart. Zerglings move in. Everybody keep an eye on the supply, although it doesn't really indicate much for the Zerg player. He takes down a pylon, shutting down the Cybernetics core. He gets some hits on the Tickle Cannons. The Tickle Cannon fall. The Immortal gets some shots, but he's wasting his time shooting down Zerglings. Immortals versus Zerglings is not the ideal matchup. I think Char is backed into a corner and not entirely sure what to do. We have the Zealot and the Tickle Cannon run by here in the back. I think he's using the F2 key because he keeps turning around. Immortals are moving out. A couple hits on the Immortals, but the other two Immortals aren't getting shots. He's probably focusing on the front end. One Immortal goes down. The Zealots make it into the base, and the new Zealots are spawning back towards this base, which is undefended. If he can clear up the drones in the gold base, he'll probably be in good shape. Put a few Immortals here on this high ground and shoot down, but at the moment he is losing heavily. Resources are about even. Mostly Zerglings lost for the Zerg player. Rooster's cheese is starting to work. If he takes down this pylon, there will be no more Immortal reinforcements. He is moving into the natural. He needs to pull these probes. The main base at home is cleared out. Zergling speed coming in and a Zergling wave of reinforcements. The gold base is cleared out. That's it. No more money left for the Zerg player. Only 5 drones, and he's sitting on a bank of about 1,000. If these 3 Immortals and if these 3 Immortals can do the job, this will be a good win for Char. Being able to hold this off and keeping the presence of mind to have this pylon in the natural base so he can attack on the back. He should take out the spawning pool to make sure that no more Spore Crawlers are made. He is working down the robotics facility and the natural, although the probes are just staying there mining because why the hell not? Probes get taken out by Zerglings that move in, forcing them to retreat. A sizable force ready to defend against this. I don't think Queens is going to be enough to take care of 3 Immortals. These Immortals need to go to the high ground and start working on these Spore Crawlers. It's going to be very difficult for the Zerg to break up this ramp, almost impossible for him to get creep up there, and therefore the Spore Crawlers will not be able to burrow in a position where they will be able to attack. Finally, the Protoss player moves his Immortals up to the high ground where he gets the advantage over the Zerg, starts working down. We have not seen good transfuses yet from the Zerg player. I think it slipped his mind. This plane is not working as fast. And in a beautiful counter, the Protoss player has taken the Zerg's gold expansion. We might see a base swap. That would be very interesting for this finishing match of this best of 3 series. I've had a lot of fun casting, and I hope everyone's had a lot of fun watching it. Let's see how this plays out. Dances of Zealots and Zerglings back and forth up here. They did take out the spawning pool, and another one has gone down. The third base taken by the Zerg player. This is just one of those great games. Dark Templar with no answer. I think that's going to seal the deal. There are no Spore Crawlers. There is no Lair Tech. There are no Overseers. I think that is going to be the winning grace of this game. GG! Char takes the series 2-1. Rooster's cheese was not sufficient. Great game, guys.